Welcome my dear students of class 9. Dear students, as you have studied about the several types of tissue, whether that is in plant or animal, the plant tissue that you have studied about the simple, permanent, meristematic tissue, and in animal you have studied about the epithelial, connective, muscular, and now come to the current topic, that is the nervous tissue. Dear students, the nervous tissue form the nervous system of the body. Take the example of human. If human is getting any stimulus from his surrounding, then that stimulus get transmitted to the central nervous system, that is brain and spinal cord, via the each and every unit of the nervous system, and that units are called neurons. Neurons are also called nerve cell. Dear students, this nervous tissue is made up of several numbers of the elongated thread-like cells, and that cells are called neuron. Dear student, these neurons are responsible for the transmission of the electrochemical impulses, which is created by the influence of the stimulus that is in the creating in the surrounding of the human, and that will be received by the nervous system, and that nervous system's unit is neuron and nervous tissue. Dear student, let us discuss about the detailed structure of a neuron. Detailed structure of neuron will provide you the exact concept of the structural organization of the nervous system, nervous tissue, as well as the functional concept of the nervous system. So let us discuss about the detailed structure of the neuron. Dear student, this neuron is made up of axon and cyton. Neuron is made up of axon and cyton. Dear student, this axon, that is the thread-like elongated structure, and it is connecting the cell body part, that is called cyton, at the other end, and here this axon is covered by the myelin sheath. So this is myelin sheath which cover the axon, which is the axis of this nerve cell. So you have to see the position of axon. This is the axon which get covered by the myelin sheath. Therefore, dear student, this is myelin sheath, this is axon, and at the ending there are several thread-like structures, and that is called the terminal end. Or nerve ending of this neuron. Dear students, this axon get connected with the cyton. Cyton is the main cell body that is the main cell body which is having so many branch structure, and that branch structure are called dendrites. These are the dendrites. These are the dendrites. So, dendrites are there as the branch structure, and it form the thread-like structure, and that thread-like structure is called dendrites. These are the dendrites. Dendrites may be of several types. Either they are branch or they are not branch. Dear students, they are the dendrites. Dendrites, and inside it there is a nucleus of this cytone, and this cell is filled with the cytoplasm inside it. So cytoplasm is filled in the cytone. This is cytoplasm. This is cytoplasm, and this upper part is called, this cell body is called cell body or cytone. This is a structure of nerve cell. This is a single nerve cell, and this nerve cell is responsible for the formation of complicated nervous system. Dear students, let us explain this. This nerve cell is consisted of cytone and axon. Cytone is the main cell body that is consisted of the cytoplasm, nucleus, and dendrites. The branch is this branch, and that branch are called dendrites. In the tail region, axon is there, and this axon arises from the cytone, and it leads to the nerve ending. And this axon, it is covered by a sheet. That sheet is called myelin sheet. This is for the protection of this axon, mainly for the transmission of the messages, transmission of the electrochemical messages. Dear students, this cell is the longest cell in the animal body. This is having so long thread-like structure, and it forms the different parts of the nervous system, whether that is brain, spinal cord, nerves, whether they are parasympathetic or sympathetic, they are motor nerve, neuron, or other type of neuron. So this complete nervous system that is made up of these single cell structure. So many structures are like this, and that structure is called nervous tissue. That complicated structure is called nervous tissue. My dear students, this nervous tissue is responsible for the transmission of the electrochemical impulses. My dear students, as you know that if a person is touching to another person, then in the skin there will be the sensory cells, and that sensory cell start producing electrical impulse. That electrical impulse is responsible for the activation of the neurons which are present in that part of the body, and these neurons secrete acetylcholine, ACH. This is the acetylcholine and chemical secretion which gets secreted by the neuron that is present near the sensory cells, which get initiated by the electrical impulse, and secretion of ACH takes place in the neuron. My dear students, at the junction of two neurons, there are synapses. At the junction of two neurons. So at the junction there is a gap-like situation, and that gap-like situation is called synapse. The purpose of this gap-like situation is to translate the message that is getting in the form of acetylcholine, ACH, which is going from one nerve cell to other nerve cell. As the impulse, as the chemical transmission, this chemical transmission is able to get translated inside the synapse, that what kind of message is, and further that message reaches to the brain or spinal cord in the form of different types of electrical impulses. And as a result of these electrical impulses, these messages get received by the brain, and the message given by the brain is to be reached at the organs, different organs at the different parts of the body, so that that particular person can act according to it. My dear students, in this learning digital video, now you will be able to also learn about the structural organization of the nervous tissue, which is a group of the nerve cell. My dear student, in the nervous system of human, let it know about the central nervous system. That is about the central nervous system. So nervous system is divided into central and peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system is having two parts, that is brain and spinal cord. These peripheral nervous system are having sympathetic and parasympathetic are sensory neuron and motor neuron. This is called sensory, and this is called motor. So message get received by the sensory neuron and message from the brain get received by the motor neuron. So these are the structural organizations of the nervous system in especially in human. And in which form brain or spinal cord get receive the messages about the stimulus, that is in the form of acetylcholine inside this synapse. So synapse are again important, that is related to the detailed study of this nervous tissue. Therefore, my dear students, now let us start some important question and answers that is related to this nervous tissue. How many main parts of the nerve cell are? The main parts of the nerve cell are cell body or cyton and axon. What is the name the structure that is arise from the cyton? These structures are dendrites. Is nucleus found in the cyton? Yes, nucleus is found in the cyton as the center of the cell. Which part cover the axon? Then you can say that this myelin sheath cover the axon. What is the function of this axon? Axon helps in the chemical transmission of the neuron. What is the function of this terminal end? This terminal end get connected with the dendrites of the other neuron. This is the synapse. So at the synapses, these nerve endings get connected with the dendrites of the or cyton of the other neuron. So this is the connection sequence among these two different cells. Dear students, let us start again some more questions from this nervous tissue. That these tissues are responsible for which type of chemical secretion? So the name of the chemical is acetylcholine or ACH. This is the chemical secretion which facilitates the electrochemical transmission of the nerve impulse. It gets converted into the nerve impulse through the sensory neuron, and in the motor neuron it also coming in the form of again electrochemical messages. Which part participates in the control and coordination of the body? Dear students, the nervous system participates in the control and coordination of the body. Classifies in nervous system. Nervous system classified into two groups: central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. What are the parts of the central nervous system? The brain and spinal cord are the two parts of the central nervous system. Where does brain occur? Brain occur in the skull. Where does spinal cord exist? Spinal cord is formed inside the vertebral column of the human. What are the role of this peripheral nervous system? Peripheral nervous system is the nervous system of the branches that arise from the either brain or spinal cord, and that is for the control and coordination of different parts of the body. How many types of the nerves are there? Two types of nerves are there: voluntary and involuntary. Voluntary and involuntary. Voluntary and involuntary type of nerves are there which control all the functions of voluntary and involuntary, that is outside the body and inside the body. What do you mean by the voluntary action? Voluntary actions are the actions which can be done by the will of the human, like walking, running, playing, singing, speech, fighting, swimming. So these actions are called as the voluntary actions. Tell about the involuntary actions. Involuntary actions are the actions which are not under the control of the willpower of the human, that is controlled by the autonomous system of the nervous system. So involuntary nervous system is also called autonomous nervous system, that is controlled by the brain itself. What is reflex action? Dear students, that is very important action in the functions of this nervous tissue, and that reflex action is the action which is due to the receiving of the any impulse, any stimulus, any environmental change, and that reflex action in the reflex action message goes to the brain or goes to the spinal cord by the sensory neuron, and reflex messages come to that part of the body by the motor neuron, so that the person can act appropriately. If an insect is biting, then there will be the reflex action, and sensory neuron carry the impulse of bite to the respective central nervous system, and the order will come by the motor neuron. On the other hand, that be escaped with this kind of bite or be away from that particular insect. So dear students, this is all about this nervous tissue, nervous system, and the structure and function of the nerve cells or neuron. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you are interested in this video, please like it. If you are not interested in video, please dislike it. And dear student, if you like it, then please subscribe this channel also. Thank you very much.